after the trade went down.
Yeah.
You said that, Troy? That's you?
He said that.
I did.
I trust Dogecoin more than I trust the 76ers. I don't give a damn.
What is going on? I want to welcome you from Half Court for today, Wednesday, March 23rd. I am, of course, your host, Sean Murphy, alongside my guy. He is 6'3" from Marquette, Michigan, standing at power forward. He's the Marquette Dirk, the man in the shirt, the man who goes hard and will scream all up in your yard. He is Troy Sergey. And also,
I love the scream up in. Why are you screaming in someone's yard? I don't get that.
Yeah, I didn't catch
just
that.
Try to rhyme it with something different every week, Jeff. I'm just, it's a yard that he's not supposed to be within 30 yards of, but that's okay.
Telling him to get out of the yard.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, Troy, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Was at the game on Saturday night. Got to see some
right.
Cade Cunningham and some Darius Garland. It was fun stuff.
Heck yeah, man.
I got to see the Rookie of the Year, no matter who that will be.
Yeah, you saw him, whether it's whatever team they're on. By the way, we'll get into that too in a minute because I have some opinions on that. Troy, that game was a very entertaining one.
Yeah, it was
it felt like
all the money.
It felt like Cleveland took control there in the end. Like in the second half, there was never really a moment where I felt like Detroit was going to win that one, especially when Kevin Love was starting to look like Chef Curry out there. But
that was rough.
I mean, hey, you got to see the two best rookies in the league go head to head, man. What's better than that?
I sure did. And one question I have that I would hope both of you can answer, because I was clueless as clueless can be, is why Cavs fans were going berserk every time Kelly Olynyk touched the ball. Like, it was insane. They booed that guy like he was LeBron back in 2010.
I'm trying to think. Didn't Kelly Olynyk injure somebody? For the Cavs?
Maybe
he might have. I think he was. I think he
might.
Maybe
he hit a big Boston back in the day.
You know what it was?
Maybe.
I think he injured Kyrie at one point. Either Kyrie or Kevin Love.
And they just hate him, and they still carry it. They still carry it.
Yeah. Because he was also on that Celtics team that was in the way for them, like over the course. So yeah, I actually think I remember like a Celtics. I might have been Kelly Olynyk. I think he injured Kevin Love on a title run one year.
Am I surprised? Oh yeah, he popped out his shoulder.
Yeah, he popped out his shoulder. That's what it was.
That's what it was. Answered the question.
Because I remember Kevin Love walking like
Jeff. I'm sorry. Yep. And
okay, Kelly, I still love you.
Literally, they were booing him so hard. You know that one shot in the first quarter when he dribbled the ball up like a point guard and just shot it from deep and nailed it off balance? He literally shot that because the crowd was just so insane.
He's going Kobe, full Kobe-esque.
Yeah, full Kobe.
Dude,
with
incredible.
A Dirk and a hit for Steph Curry.
Oh my gosh. Well, Troy, we are joined today by not just a guest, but the brand new third chair in From Half Court. We are joined by Woodward Sports own Jeff Iafrate, one of my dear friends. Jeff, what's going on? Welcome to the From Half Court podcast, my friend.
Dude, I feel welcome. I'm glad to be here. This is awesome, guys. We're going to have a lot of fun doing this stuff, creating content, and it's something I'm passionate about. Love basketball, so we're going to have a lot of fun on here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, and Jeff, you know, obviously you've had some time on the Morning Woodward show, and you know, obviously as things have kind of been announced this week that you're transitioning out of that role, but that's by no means you're by no means not in Woodward Sports. You're by no means going anywhere. If anything, it just means you have a new home and you have a new tag team to help scream at people about basketball with, and that's it's going to be fun, man. I'm just so excited you're here. I'm excited we get to work on videos together and podcasts together. And dude, there's just the sky's the limit, man. Things are coming to From Half Court and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. I think with the transition, I'm going from the morning show and everyone thinks it's like, guys, you got to look at it like this. See, I saw people on Twitter talking about, it feels like I got demoted. Listen, I did not get demoted. This is not like we had the best numbers on the network. Like it was not a demotion. Like we were doing great numbers. What it was is a business move that I actually absolutely support. I think Terry has been someone that network's been eyeing for a while, and he's it's motherfucking Terry Foster. Like the guy, it's like Michael Jordan getting drafted and you're getting benched by him. And you think the guy's getting benched is going to be like, man, screw this guy. And I'm like, all right, it's Michael Jordan. Like, you get it. Like, I'm not, it's just a transition. Now I'm going to do things on the back end with Woodward. I'm helping out with their social media team. That's something that I've been really passionate about. I'm able to transition in, and now I get to do content full time by myself with you guys in my own time. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I actually love it a lot. The morning show made me grow as a person, but those are the experiences I got from that show, going at it with Adam. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. It was the best thing.
And hey, now you get to go at it with Troy and I, and then also sometimes just you and me will just box it out, man. Believe me.
Let's get it.
When Sean told me that Jeff was joining the podcast, and he asked me if I knew who you were, and I said, "Is he the guy that actually has good takes on Woodward?"
He was
I loved you, Troy.
He was like, "Is that the guy that actually knows Pistons?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's Jeff." Oh, awesome! Yeah. So,
I love it, man. No, that's what I want to get to. Like, people think like, all right, now I can be the Pistons, part of the Pistons voice. That's what I love. That's my passion. It's awesome.
Exactly. And that's like a big part of what this channel's about. I mean, obviously here, like we talk sports. There'll be times or in another podcast we talk football and we'll go into things that, but like, it's not, now we get to talk about the whole landscape of the NBA, which is something you might have gotten to do like 1 or 2 segments a week. Now that's our thing here. That's what we do. And, we have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Obviously, as of the day that this is releasing tomorrow, Ashton the Trainer is going to be live on this channel. I still can't believe that's happening.
Big time.
But you're going to want to be there for that, because that is going to be a very epic live stream. It's happening Thursday, 8/7 Central on From Half Court. So be sure to be there, be live. And come ready with questions, because Ashton, the trainer, is the dude, and he will be spending some time with us. So be on the lookout for that. Super exciting stuff. But with that, guys, let's get into our first podcast together, shall we? So
let's get it.
Yeah, 100%. So let's start with the top story of the week, and that is that according to Shams, Jerami Grant will be pursued by the Portland Trailblazers this offseason. So in an article written by Shams, kind of talking about the landscape of the NBA, had some other nuggets in there, like reportedly Miami would be interested in Bradley Beal, or if Bradley Beal would want to move on, that would be a team he'd be interested in. But Jerami Grant has kind of been the looming target for a lot of teams for a long time. And now it's looking like Portland really is going to commit going after him over the summer. Obviously, Damian Lillard and Jerami Grant played together in the Olympics, in the 2020 Olympics over in Japan. My question to you guys, with that, what is Jerami Grant's price tag? Because reportedly it sounds like it would probably have to take Portland's lottery pick and then another young player. Do you think there are other teams that will pursue Jerami Grant? And is this Troy Weaver's plan all along, was to wait until this draft and move him then? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think this was definitely in the works the whole along with Jerami Grant. I think he was a guy that, I think was came in to be built in kind of as a kind of a tank contract at first. And then I think we didn't really know what we were getting out of him until those first maybe 10 games of the season and the post-COVID season. And I think he does fit that Portland team well. We'll have to see what happens. But again, like we've talked about on the podcast before, Sean, our draft pick is still going to, I think, indicate a lot of, what we do with Jerami Grant, because, of course, having a 40 piece the other night, that's big stuff. Not a lot of players in the league can drop 40 on any given night. And Jerami Grant's one of them. So,
well, let alone to have 2 forwards, on your team, 2 wings that were able to score a 40 and a 50 bomb back to back.
Back to back.
Yeah, 100%. While, obviously one night Jerami Grant wasn't on the floor. The other night he was, Sadiq still able to play well. But Jeff, what are your thoughts? You and I have kind of been the champions of Jerami Grant, it feels like, at Woodward Sports. And which is funny, because you and I also wouldn't be particularly against trading him either, which says a lot. I mean, cough, Adam Maydoun, cough. But what are your thoughts, Jeff?
we're floating on the fence a little bit. Like I'm on the
Uh-huh.
fence because with Jerami, I always appreciate a player's willingness to come to a market like Detroit or
Yep.
any market for that matter. Like Jerami took money, of course, he got paid, and like you said perfectly, Troy, it was kind of that rebuild contract. You offer him the big contract. He came to Detroit, wanted to play for Dwayne Casey, and he put up great numbers on a team that was struggling. And every team in the league, if you're contending, you need a guy like Jerami Grant. He's a wing who can guard multiple positions. He can stretch the floor. Like you said, can score 30, 40 on any given night. And that's why I always thought there was a part of me that knew he was going to get traded. But then also a part of me, and I had this conversation with, my good friend Easy at the network just about this team, and they haven't been healthy. Like really together healthy. So you don't know what the dynamic looks like when Cade, is older with Jerami Grant and Saddiq Bey. But again, if you can get Jerami, we talked about this today, I would, and right before the Portland news came out, I was like, get a first round pick and a player. I'll be good. And around the draft time, that's why I never panicked past the trade deadline, because Troy was going to get a deal done similarly how he got Saddiq Bey. Remember when we got all these picks? Yeah. Damn draft night, and we're like, all right, Saddiq, all right, Isaiah Stewart, it all happened so quickly. So with Jerami, I'm good with him getting traded. I mean, I'm sure he would be as well. I don't know how he's thinking. I mean, sure, he loves the city, but if a team like Portland, needs a piece like that to pair with their superstar, like right now, we're in the process of making superstars. Like we have Cade Cunningham, we have Saddiq Bey, who's, they're turning the corner. But like you said, you're going to draft a Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren, like those guys. Yeah. Jabari would play his position essentially, and then you have Paulo, who would play his position essentially, and then you have Chet, who probably play 4 and 5 a little bit. So, but still, like the trade value's there. So they got to get rid of Jerami Grant. I don't know when. I think their trade value is the highest right now. So ideally, you deal him soon. But I always appreciated him, man. I mean, he's just a great player. That's why I never talked bad about him. I mean, everyone knows Jerami Grant's got a bit of that ISO ball in him, when he's kind of a ball stopper. You get him down the court, everyone's moving the ball. But you've seen it over the last couple of weeks. He's been buying into the offense. Like, and people don't talk about that enough. They want to crap on him when he's, ball stopping, but they don't want to crap on him when he's playing well. So, but Portland, I'm assuming that's the destination. I really do. They got to build around Dame.
Yeah, I think if it's not Portland, I think to me a team like Utah or Chicago really has to step things up. I mean, Chicago, that's a team that, that was a team at the beginning of the season that looked like the contender to, really make some noise and run deep in the playoffs. But their record against the top teams in the league it's not good. It's bad. It's really bad. I think it's something along the lines of 4-16. And so when you can't beat that top end talent in that competition, and you're in a situation where it really feels like they're a piece away. Patrick Williams could try and come in next year. Like, I just think, I think the Warriors relying on James Wiseman to come in and be the savior for them, and we'll talk about that later. I think that was a little overly optimistic. I think the same can be said here as well. In this case too, I just, with Jerami Grant, I think Portland makes sense, where you can go in and, you can kind of still be a primary option on the offensive end. I think Chicago, like where he could really go be kind of like a supercharged version of what he was in Denver. I think that's
like a JV DeMar DeRozan too, to pair up in Chicago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And have a guy like Lonzo Ball that can make his offense so easy. And then imagine the defensive opportunities with him and Caruso on the court. I mean, that's elite. That's elite perimeter defense. So, there's certainly things like that. But to me, I see the market to be too big for him. I think at the end of the day, the teams weren't as willing to put that price point at the trade deadline will be more desperate to going into next year, because you can get a full year of Jerami Grant and then still have the rights to put him in and to get him on an extension. Right. So to me, it's just, obviously you got to see where the chips fall and you got to see where you land, because again, a team with Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham needs Jerami Grant way more than a team that has Jabari Smith and Cade Cunningham. So that's just the reality of it. And and for Jerami, I'm sure he would love to go play with Damian Lillard. I mean, anytime you get to team up with a guy like that, you take it. Right?
Absolutely.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. And again, the biggest thing we can get out of this is that Jerami Grant fits any contending team, right? And everyone needs a guy like Jerami Grant to produce. And I think Jerami Grant has the personality to have a six-man position, right? I mean, he's a guy that is willing to take that. And I still think he can
Not
start
in Detroit,
on
though.
teams.
Not in Detroit. I think it'd have to be in the right situation. I think.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, very selective.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You know, if he's in Chicago, it's way different being a six-man in Chicago or Utah or even, you know, but like in Detroit, if it's all young guys out in the court, that's where I go. He needs to be traded in the sense of we can't ask any of these guys to be the sixth man. Like if you make Sadiq Bey your sixth man, he might be a sixth man of the year, but like that's, to me, that's just stunning his growth. Like that's when it stunts his growth, in my opinion.
Right. And I think with Jerami Grant too, you know, Jeff talked about a little bit with like the summertime and dealing him. I would still have the mindset of that's not quickly get rid of Jerami Grant, right? That's truly take the best possible option. Let's listen to all the offers and we'll go from there. So
and then get into a bidding war, hopefully. You know, you get
that's what I'm getting at. Yes.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with it.
Yeah, just let Troy Weaver play those phones, man. Just let him hop on, you know, turn that ringer on, put on Do Not Disturb on at nighttime. But then when that thing pops up, you know, there's going to be people calling and waiting. Because
you know, Troy has it in him in terms of dealing. Like he's got something up his sleeve. So we'll see. He's been quiet.
He's been a little too quiet, man. You know, he's got something going on. So yeah, absolutely. But speaking of Portland and Damian Lillard, news did come out that Damian Lillard is out for the rest of the season. I don't think this comes as a shock to anybody because it seems like the way that they were going to go about things was just let Dame rest, let the young guys get minutes.
They suck ass.
They suck ass. Let's get a lottery pick that we can use in a trade. Let's try and get assets. My question to you with this, I mean, obviously, you know, the season's chalk. This team right now, they have some young players. They have some pieces that they could potentially retool with, but they're not looking to rebuild. They're looking to hop back into contention. So with that, who do you think Portland should target, and what's a realistic road to them actually having a competitive roster? Because I just don't see how they can flip this around and change things so rapidly.
What's
especially
their cap space right now, Sean. What's their cap space?
I mean, you're gonna have CJ McCollum off the books. I think I want to say they're going to have a little cap space. Let me look into that real quick, Troy.
Okay. And then for guys that I'd love to see with Damian Lillard, and I'm kind of monitoring their situations right now, is a guy like Bradley Beal. Like if they can steal one of these guys, I get it's a similar pairing. Yeah, it's CJ McCollum, but you still need look at the free agents this year. Like I have them right here written down. They're all guards. Like the only true forward, TJ Warren. Wow. Okay,
yeah,
and then you
Miles
got
Bridges, but he's a restricted free agent. He's going to stay in Charlotte. Like breaking news.
And that's the thing with also DeAndre Ayton. Like I'm
I was gonna say him too. Yeah,
I'm assuming he's going back to Phoenix. So with the people available, okay, you got all these guys on player options. The next really good, I guess, you have Zach LaVine, but he's probably going to return to Chicago. So in terms of free agent, it's going to have to be through via trade. That's kind of my mindset on it. I don't know where they go to or who they reach out to, but it's tough. I mean, who are you going to get?
I think this rebuild in Portland is going to be a lot longer than Trailblazers.
It could end in Damian Lillard leaving. Like at this point,
no, right? I think that could be starting.
Yeah,
leaving. You know what I mean?
Yeah. About time. I mean, listen, Dame, I get you want to value winning. That's cool and everything, and it's very PG, and I love it, and it's just so great. But the reality is, if Damian Lillard was, you know, anywhere else that had a decent, like say he went to Milwaukee or something like that, oh my God, you get to see him playing big games like that. Yeah. Like he knows that. He definitely knows that. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, 100%. And looking at their cap situation, it looks like they are going to have some salary cap. So they obviously
that 93 million.
Yeah, so they only have 93 million on the books next year. So they obviously they took on Joe Ingles' contract. Remember, Joe Ingles no longer a member of the Jazz. Yep. So they have his contract coming off the books. Yusuf Nurkic, I would imagine they're not going to look to re-sign him. If they do, I hope it's not on too big of a deal because I think the hopes of building around Yusuf Nurkic in a tandem with Damian Lillard, I think those hopes should be dead.
Yeah.
Anthony Simmons is a guy I think if there's a guy to hold on as far as the young players go, it's him. And then I think any of these guys down here, like whether it's like Nasir Little or Ben McLemore or like Justice Winslow, I mean, like those are guys you can throw in a trade package. They have some decent names on here. Like Josh Hart is a decent player.
And that's hold on. Sorry to interrupt you, Sean, but who the hell do they have to trade?
Yeah, exactly.
Who the hell is calling you? Who the hell is calling you for Josh Hart? Like, I mean, that's at this point. So Damian's he's out. Like, this man is gone. Yeah. I don't know who the hell you're going to trade or sign this year. At least you're gonna have to wait another offseason. Dame's going to be like, speaking of Dame time, he's going to be like, "What the fuck time is it?
Yeah,
time to leave.
It's time
I'm out of here.
It's time to book a ticket to Miami or
yeah,
or like
there you go,
or go join one of the teams in LA. Like we'll see. But yeah, if I'm looking at the Portland situation, they are insistent, and Damian's insistent that he wants to make it work. Chauncey Billups, our guy, that's the coach that he insisted that he wants, and stands by that. So, if that's really what's going on, then to me, it becomes very similar to a Bradley Beal situation where it's like, okay, at a certain point, you're asking for this. If this is what you want, this is what you get. So, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes at a certain point. So I don't know when Portland needs to learn that they're not a free agency destination, but here, maybe this can work. Hey, Portland, you're not a free agency destination. Stop acting like you're a free agency destination. Like, God dang.
And it's not like their owner's going to read this message. I don't think they're even concerned with what's going on with their basketball team. So at the same time,
yeah, they're not going to hear this, but that's okay.
You're screwed.
You know what? They'll trade for someone. They'll be a 6th seed in the Western Conference, and then Damian Lillard will be like, "Yeah, I'm done," and then that will be it. So,
how many 6 seeds can you take before you get bounced in the first round? Like, how many can you actually take?
I mean, that's fool's gold over in Sacramento, and in
remember when he made the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference Finals, and he had that, and he just got destroyed. Like we all thought, like this could be the matchup of the they really could contend. Nope.
I knew they'd get swept, man. They
they had no shot.
Here's the thing: Denver played better than them in that semifinals.
Yeah,
Denver should have beat them, but I think Joker was too young and whatever. But yeah, man, they had no business being there.
They had a fake ID. They had a fake ID of the NBA.
They were McLovin and with the fake ID. That's what they were. Yeah. So with that, it is now time to move on to the other big story out west. Another team dealing with injury issues, and that is the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, over the weekend, we did see Steph Curry go out with an injury against Marcus Smart. But now, according to the people over in the Golden State Warriors, James Wiseman's return to the Warriors has been delayed. His status is now considered beyond uncertain, and they will not set a timetable upon his return. So obviously a swelling right knee, never something that you want to have happen. May I remind the committee that not only could the Warriors have had a guy like Sadiq Bey, who, if he was on this Warriors team, that would bring them to a different level, but they could have also had a guy named LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
So with that, now being in a situation where Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson have yet to play basketball on a court together since 2019. And now they could be heading into a playoff where those would be your first reps on the court together. So my question to you guys, the route for Golden State winning a championship this year, that's chalked, right? Like we all agree that they're not going to win a championship this year.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good, fair assessment. However, there's one thing that I am impressed with the Golden State is their bench stepping up. Guys like Otto Porter, guys like Jordan Poole,
Kuminga.
Yeah. Kuminga over the course since the All-Star break. Oh my gosh.
I'm genuinely impressed to a point where I'm not ruling them out in the Western Conference Finals. I'm probably ruling them out for the finals, but I'm not ruling them out for the Western Conference Finals.
They can get that far, 100%. I mean, people
get healthy.
People forget when Klay, Draymond, and Steph alone were together on a court, they could still get to a finals by themselves. So it's not that they can't do it. It's just, it really, those reps were going to be so crucial. Getting Draymond back. I just think the Steph injury really sets the uncertainty,
Tough.
but then with Wiseman too, which it seemed like Wiseman was really was that missing piece for a championship for Golden State. So, you'd never want to overreact and say that a player is a bust or that things aren't going great, but I think we could say right now, this has not been a great year for James Wiseman at all. It's been a disaster.
The best availability or best ability is availability, and he has failed to do that. You saw in his rookie year, James Wiseman, I think, is a great player. It's just the struggle to stay healthy has always been there, and that's a big concern of mine. The Warriors, I mean, you saw how good they were with just Steph and Draymond, and they didn't have James or Clay, so there's still room there. Like they're still going to be just fine if Steph can get back. That was kind of just a random injury with the whole Marcus Smart thing. I know he got flack for that, for diving for the ball. I mean, I got no problem with it.
He's just diving for the ball.
He's hustling.
It's a basketball play.
Yeah, I can't get too mad at him. I mean, Steph Curry, he'll be hopefully. I don't know how bad it is really. I mean, but hopefully he'll be back. Klay Thompson's been kind of returning to his original form. He's going to need at least a 25-game stretch. He's had kind of that so far to get back under him, his feet back under him. But the Warriors, you're right. They can make a Western Conference Finals. I would not be surprised. It just comes down to, I think, the difference between last year and this year, or excuse me, 2 years ago, is you had Kevin Looney starting at damn center. And now you're like, all right, you're getting to James Wiseman. The team's going to get way better. And then now this guy hasn't even been on the court this year. That's the biggest part of it. And then you're right. When he gets on the court, we got 10 games of the playoffs. When is this dude getting back? And if he gets back in the playoffs, you think no, it's not ideal for anybody in their second year to come back and try to get back at their legs back under them in the playoffs for a team that's trying to make a run. It's not going to happen. Well, so it depends on Steph. That's the big thing. And Draymond.
100%. Well, also with Steph, he has torn ligaments in his foot. It's it's not a good injury. So the odds of him getting back, the hopes would be you could get him back the last few games before the playoff starts, but more than likely you're getting him when the playoff starts. If that, there's a potential he could miss time in the playoffs. And then that means Klay Thompson needs to be ready to go.
The workload. Klay gets injured. What the hell's next? What the hell's this team?
That's the thing though, is with Klay, I mean, let's be honest, has Klay looked like he's ready to go help Golden State win a championship right now? I wouldn't say so.
No, he's not looking like he's going to win a championship, but he's at least
producing, but he's not.
He's producing.
He's not what they need out of him to win.
No, not 22 points a game like that. That's the Klay we all know. That was above 40% from three at least. But
and I mean, a lot of that's just getting his rhythm back. He's been gone for so long. So I mean, to expect, I think this was always. I think we're seeing the Warriors overachieve right now. I think and which is a weird thing to say, but I think the attitude was always, for those guys, it's we want to win a championship now, which is great. But let's be honest, we got to get Klay fully brought back in the fold. We need to get James Wiseman healthy and in an off season where he can be ready to go by the time the season starts and get a season to learn to play with Draymond Green, to learn to play with Steph Curry, truly play with Steph Curry, because last year, a lot more traditional sets. Now it's that Steph Curry off ball running around the court. We are getting the ball to Steph Curry. We're going to try to win games. Putting it in perspective real quick. Killian Hayes, who has been a player on the Pistons that we have not seen a lot of. He has played 81 career games so far. James Wiseman, 39. So Killian Hayes, someone that has been criticized for his availability. He's had twice the time of James Wiseman on a basketball court right now. So, to your point, that can't happen, but it's what's happening. So, Golden State, I think, Bob Myers has gotten a lot of free passes. He's a great GM. He's done a lot of great things. So far, if they were to go back and redo that draft, I think they would change some things.
Yeah, no doubt. And they're still a very dangerous team too. If they can
sure.
This is the thing. They have so much experience come postseason. If Klay Thompson and them get back, and they don't look as well as they originally did before the injuries, with Draymond especially, he's been out for so long with the back injury. But if they come back, I could see them just it's weird. That's the only team I would probably say they have enough experience in the postseason. They've been in so many finals with KD especially. So we'll see. It's gonna be interesting. That's one team probably people are gonna love betting on. Sneaky team. Really, really. If they can just stay alive and stay afloat. who knows what happens after the next 11 games, but we'll see where they land in the seedings.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, Chris Paul, he's hoping to come back really soon.
Yeah.
So, Phoenix, I just have such a hard time seeing that team not having what it takes to win a championship this year. Just from the top down, Chris Paul, I see him having very, very easy time coming back into the system. I think he can just be plugged right back in, and he brings so much value just being on the court.
And he's hungry too. He's hungry to win. He wants to contribute. He wants to be that guy on this Phoenix team. So yeah, he's a guy I have no worry about coming back.
Yeah, especially with Devin Booker, the way that he's been playing. And the thing is, like, this Suns team, like, it was like, oh no, what are they going to do ever since ever since Chris Paul goes out? Like, this is going to be tough for them. They have 17 losses, 54 wins.
Cameron Payne steps up in there and just, I don't know what the hell. That's coaching. That's Monty Williams. Like, that really is. If you can get that type of production out of those guys, I mean, they've got Bismack Biyombo. It's all these guys that were either cut or just traded away for nothing. He's got their bench. Now their bench looks great. Their bench, they have a great bench. So,
like last year, the biggest weakness was they didn't have a backup big. Now they have JaVale McGee. So if DeAndre Ayton gets into foul trouble, they're 58-14. Like, this team, ridiculous. When Chris Paul went down, it was like, oh no, what are they going to do? They've literally lost 4 times since Chris Paul went down.
Devin Booker, I'm telling you.
Yeah, now have Chris Paul in the lineup. I don't care what team, West, East, try stopping this team right now, because it's going to be really hard to. And a team that's going to have to try is the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah.
Troy, I do want to put the spotlight on you real quick. You called this your finals favorite team. This was your championship favorite after the trade went down.
Yeah.
You said that, Troy? That's you?
You said that.
I did.
I trust Dogecoin more than I trust the 76ers. I don't give a damn who's playing. With James Harden especially. Listen, we got to can we acknowledge that? Can we bring that up a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk.
James Harden, you need an APV out for him in the playoffs. You can't find him. And especially last year, they weren't even healthy enough to be there. So I need to see James with Embiid. I think the pairing's great. They're honestly a very scary team in the regular season. I don't know how they look come postseason. Right. Is it? I mean, Tobias Harris, I think that's an underrated part of that team. You're going to need Tobias Harris in that postseason, especially Tyrese Maxey. Like, they got a good team. So it's really the supporting cast that I would like to see more than I can just say James. He's going to the finals. I trust James. Listen, as much as I love James Harden, what is he averaging? 22 points?
Yeah, he's averaging 22 points, 43% from the field, 35% from 3, 10 assists, 1.5 steals. So he's doing his thing.
James
Harden, like in his time in Philly, he's doing his thing. However, listen, man, I know we touched on it a little bit last week, Troy, but that Brooklyn game, when I think of what it's going to look like in a playoff atmosphere, it's that Brooklyn game.
Unfortunately. And I think Embiid hasn't been stepping up from what we saw even pre James Harden coming in. And I think a lot of my assessment was based off of Embiid's performance without James Harden. And I kind of thought, bringing in Harden, he'd get his touches. Embiid would still get his touches, and they'd sing Kumbaya together. But that's just not really what we're seeing. But I think it's still possible we see that. I'm not saying that I take back my decision just yet. But what I would have predicted, if you asked me 2 weeks ago what this team would look like 2 weeks from now, which is today, I would not have expected so poorly out of everyone. And even a guy like like Tyrese Maxey, like you said, you're gonna need him to step up. You're going to need those guys to Thibault. What's the guy's name?
Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah, Thibault. He's going to really have to step up.
He's underrated.
He's had some good games. I would say the guy that really needs to step up is Tobias Harris, because you're there on a max contract. He has not been good enough. Like, there's just no other way to say it. He is sorely underperformed his contract ever since he's been there. And I know a lot of Detroit fans weren't thrilled when we let him go in a trade for Blake Griffin. However, he might have one of the worst contracts in the NBA, like straight up. Especially in Philly. And now, if Philly doesn't get this done this year, it is very fascinating what their road ahead looks like, because do they make the coaching change? Do they fire Doc Rivers, which
choking 3-1 leads?
Which I mean, it's weird because on one hand, Doc Rivers is one of the best coaches in the NBA. Troy, you came out and even said that's your favorite coach right now.
Yeah.
So, with that, if he doesn't get it done again this year, I don't think there is anything that could look worse for the Philadelphia 76ers if this team chokes the way they did in the playoffs last year, because Ben Simmons shouldered a hell of a lot of blame.
Right.
He really did. But let us not forget. Yeah, he was the scapegoat. But let us not forget, James Harden didn't. I mean, Joel Embiid didn't exactly have a great series against Atlanta.
When he had an opportunity to shine, he really had everything in his favor to succeed in that series, and he didn't.
Pistons are down by 23 to Portland right now.
Yeah, but Kate's playing well.
There's a positive. So you gotta
exactly.
find the positive.
Exactly.
There's always a positive, boys.
There's got to be a positive.
And one thing with the 76ers, I think has what is going their way, especially with James Harden, is he's not in the West no more.
Right.
Like, he's actually in the East is tough, don't get me wrong, but besides the Bucks with one superstar, I mean, like the Miami Heat's a very good team, the respectable team. The Brooklyn Nets, you're hoping is Ben Simmons gonna Speaking of guys who aren't playing, is he gonna play? Like when the hell are we gonna see Ben Simmons?
Yeah, so the hope is for him to start playing in the last few games of the season, but he actually apparently experienced a setback when he came back. Like during the All-Star break, apparently he like tweaked his back or something bad happened. So like he's dealing with some stuff. I don't know, man. Like maybe his plane ride was a little too bumpy. Like I couldn't tell you, man, because there's no reason he shouldn't be on the court eventually, but apparently the injury is legit. So like there's that. But I mean, right now, to your point, like, if the playoffs were to start today, Philly would have to play Cleveland in the first round. And
I'm taking the Philadelphia 76ers in that.
Well, I'm taking Philly. Don't get me wrong, but that ain't a cakewalk.
Right. It's not.
It's a cakewalk, but
it's not a cake. I get what you're saying. It's not like I don't think they'll sweep.
It's a 6-game series.
On the surface,
that
Atlanta Hawks Philadelphia 76ers series of last year.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's an upset, but people didn't take that Hawks team seriously. And they were a young team, first year, truly in the playoff picture. They make a run. I'm not saying that's what this team's going to do. What I'm saying is don't count them out so quickly. Don't discount if Jared Allen's healthy, if Evan Mobley's available.
Yeah.
That is a matchup nightmare for Joel Embiid if they go out and actually play good defense.
And even a hungry Darius Garland too.
That's all I'm saying.
He's been playing well. I mean, Darius Garland's that dude. My thing with that is I wonder if the inexperience will catch up to Cleveland in that situation. And not only that, the bench, they have such a deep team with the Cavaliers, so that also goes their way. Like they have Lauri Markkanen, like they got all these guys. They just signed. They just said, "Hey, Kevin Love, Lauri Markkanen." They're just getting guys everywhere. I thought they'd trade Kevin Love by now. They haven't, so obviously they
they're keeping him on for something. Yeah,
turns out Kevin Love actually. It turns out he wants to be in Cleveland when they're actually playing well. Who would have thought?
Yeah, get shot to Kevin Love, most loyal man yet in the NBA as of yet. So with the Cavs, they're not a team that I would say, like you said, 6 games. They're respectable. It's like, all right, challengeable. 6 games, done in 6. Like it's like, we'll see. We'll see if they impress me.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's a very valid way to think about it. But then from there, they got to play Milwaukee, and then they got to play a team the Heat. Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah, 100%. When you get Giannis, because that's the thing. Because now it's again. You've got to look at this conference. You got to say, are any of these teams good enough to beat the Milwaukee Bucks 4 times? And that's where to me, I think we're gonna get a finals rematch. I really think we're heading towards Milwaukee Phoenix again.
But we're
And-
still going to have a super fun playoffs, even if that is the outcome.
No doubt.
Because
Oh yeah. Oh, and I'm not
Chicago
complaining. I
guys.
want to watch those teams play again. 100%.
I just want Chicago. I wish in the beginning of the year when they had everybody healthy, like they had Lonzo
Mhm.
Ball before the knee injury, Caruso before the dirty damn Grayson Allen shot that took him out of the midair, and then they had DeMar DeRozan now on that streak. Like if they're a healthy team, that team is dangerous, man.
Yeah.
Like
With
I get they're not
Ayo
beating
Dosunmu
good teams.
too, like
They're not beating good teams, but Lonzo Ball and them have been injured for quite some time. They're back now.
Well, here's the thing. Lonzo Ball just experienced another setback in rehab. That's another thing. So
Can
like,
these guys get back?
Yeah,
God
that's the thing,
dang.
dude. It's chalked. Like all these guys are just dealing with injuries, man. It sucks. Like Chicago, like you look at the landscape of the league right now. Chicago, 2-8 in their last 10. They have a worse record in their last 10 than the Washington Wizards, the New York Knicks, the Indiana Pacers, the Detroit Pistons, and the Orlando Magic. They currently are the coldest team in the league, and the only team that's worse is either Portland or Oklahoma City. That's where they're at right now. They have the same record in their last 10 as the Houston Rockets.
Yeah,
just to put it into perspective.
Just that stat, Sean, of I think you mentioned with Chicago, 2-16 against winning teams,
4-16.
4, yeah, nuts. Like,
is that with the entire cast healthy in there available?
I think that's just their record this season in general.
Yeah,
against top teams. So
yeah, no, they mostly it ends up being hero ball with DeMar DeRozan a lot of the time, but it is what it is. I think on talent, on paper, that team, especially in the regular season early, we're challenging a lot of people. But I mean, again, it goes back to the inexperience in the postseason. Like you're giving the ball to Zach LaVine and Vucevic and DeMar DeRozan. Like which of those guys? I mean, besides DeRozan when he was getting swept by LeBron all those years in Toronto, which of these guys have really made like very big leaps into these playoffs? I don't know a single one. So
right, yeah. Well, that's the other thing.
Right on that.
They're a young team that's inexperienced in the playoffs when it comes to that. And I mean, DeMar DeRozan, the experience he does have hasn't been great so far. So,
but so are the Hawks.
Yeah,
no, I'm just joking.
The Hawks. I mean, listen, man. I have not seen like the Hawk. It's not that they're not good defensively. They are dog defensively. Like they are terrible. Like there are times like I just watched them let up open shots. Like Trae Young will just like stand there and watch.
Dude, he's getting like benched too. Like late in the game when they're like on defensive possessions.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Trae Young, you can't even guard a guy who's standing still.
You won't even try.
The game, get DeLon right in there, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
that's been how it's been. I mean, Trae Young love him, but they can't guard anybody. Kevin Huerter.
Yeah, when Bogdanovich is one of your more like reliable perimeter defenders, that's a problem.
That's a problem. Big time. He was never that.
And then you got Danilo Gallinari, which let's be honest, he's if we're doing the Mount Rushmore of players that I have an uncomfortable time watching move their body, that's one of them for sure.
Yeah, moves like a snail. Moves like a snail laterally. He can't do nothing.
Oh, so 100%, dude. It is bad. Oh my goodness. But a team that I'm looking looking across the scope of the league, the team that is the hottest over their last 10 games, the Minnesota Timberwolves are 9-1 in their last 10.
Wow.
They ever since it seems like bringing in a guy like Patrick Beverley was exactly what this team needed, a vet that could help them win games and can help bring in culture. They have a consistent coach that it seems like the teams listen to. And it looks like Karl Anthony Towns is taking that next step in his career and is affecting winning, which is something that we haven't seen from him in a long time. So what do you guys think of the nucleus they have building in Minnesota? Because I'll be honest, before this year, I thought that they were just going to be Pistons West, just like when it was like Reggie Jackson, Andre Drummond, and I thought it was going to be very similar to those Pistons. But man, they are playing inspired basketball.
But I would say too, Sean, they still have a long road ahead.
Oh, they do.
Because I remember thinking the same thing when they had Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, Zach LaVine.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting there thinking, wow, they can turn this into something. And what happened after that?
Jack Diddley.
Yeah. No, but this is different. You're right. Anthony Edwards is a beast. Like I thought they were complete idiots trading away Zach LaVine, even if it was for Jimmy Butler. Like that was it. Jimmy Butler, you don't know if he's staying there. Clearly didn't work out. Now
he was a rental player. He was a rental player.
Exactly. Yeah. So they hit on Anthony Edwards. He's a baller. I think D'Angelo Russell, another guy you're bringing in. So I like the core they have. My questions is, how, like you said, long road ahead. How quickly can they, yes, they're winning games in the regular season. Patrick Beverley is a big part of that.
Another thing to
can't
note,
control all their mentalities on the floor.
And another thing to note, they're 24-12 at home. They're 500 on the road. So
that's the youth. That's the youth playing a factor into that again.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you want to be great in this league, I mean, a lot of these teams that are up towards the top, I mean, Memphis, Phoenix,
the Suns.
The Suns, they're both great on the road. Like literally the Suns have more losses at home than they do on the road.
Yeah, incredible. That is that in the modern day NBA, that's insane.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So
this ain't COVID.
What's Minnesota's seed right now, Sean?
They're 6th. They are above the play-in picture at this point.
Who's third?
Who's third in the West? They would have to play. They would have to play Golden State round 1. So hey,
well, depends who's there. I mean, I can't react now, but
yeah,
if they're healthy, that's a tough. Patrick Beverley and Steph Curry. If he can get back, I would pay money to see that.
Dude, I wish I could. Dude, Jeff, we got to get there front row, man. That would be awesome. Hey, Woodward, you want to fly us out to the Chase Center real quick?
But jumping at kneecap, jumping at ankles, he'd be doing everything.
Concerning up and coming teams in the West, I still think Memphis is miles ahead of Minnesota, like miles.
100%. Well, that's the different though. That's different though, because I mean, they might be similar in the fact that like they're both building culture and they're kind of building towards the future. But the difference is Karl Anthony Towns like an all-star caliber player. John Morant's an MVP candidate.
Right.
He's a superstar.
He is a full-blown superstar.
The difference is they got Ja.
Yeah, that's exactly. They got Ja freaking Morant. That's all you need to say.
You might not have Anthony Edwards. You might have Desmond Bane, but if you got a guy like John Morant, he can just do it all, man. Steven Adams, big part. Like they just have great role players. And talk about a great coach. Like Taylor Jenkins doing a hell of a job. So hey, they got the whole complete team. I would say Memphis is definitely one of those guys. They have a higher seed than the Hawks did last year, but going into the playoffs, you think anyone's going to expect much out of them? They're probably going to shock a ton of people, despite being the number 3 seed or number 2 seed. So I can't wait to see Memphis come postseason. I think they're dangerous. Ja, I think he's not going to change him, phase him in the moment.
Yeah, especially like they gave Utah fits. People forget, like in the playoffs, round 1 last year. Like this is a team that's like battle tested. Like Ja's first season, they made it in the play-in. The second year, they win in the play-in. Like they've gotten progressively better in the postseason as it's gone on. So like I wouldn't be shocked if in the next year or two, like we see Memphis get to a Western Conference final. Like in the next year or two, like they really could. If guys like Jaren Jackson Jr. step up, if the Memphis Grizzlies, they've been super conservative with the overall construction of their roster. In my opinion.
They can land a star via trade or something. Another star. Which,
let's be honest, John Morant is the kind of guy that guys would want to play with. So, Memphis, even though Memphis isn't traditionally a free agency destination, you can cash in through trade. And unlike Portland, you have pieces that teams would be interested in. You have guys like Desmond Bane who would certainly get a lot of notoriety in the trade market. So, they have a situation where they can really turn it around, So, Memphis is only going to get better as it goes on for sure. And Minnesota's definitely been fun. Jeff, we are going to be having a segment for you starting next week on this podcast, but it's going to be kind of a Jeff spotlight, like kind of like what you and I were talking about. We'll have a better name for it and something down the line. But what has as far I will ask you, and we can make this just a Pistons segment for right now, because I mean, all 3 of us have Pistons something in our screens right now. We're all Pistons fans, die hard in our blood. First of all, who's your favorite Piston of all time? Because I think we got to get to know you a little bit better in your Pistons fandom. And what do you think, if there's any player that you want to see the Pistons add in free agency, who would it be and why?
Okay, so favorite player, Rip Hamilton.
Same thing, buddy.
Rip Hamilton, that's my guy. Growing up, I'm a 2 guard. I like shooting the ball. The guy was just not only one of the best mid-range shooters, but just absolute marksman. especially big part of winning in 2004, and that was my childhood. So again, it's Rip Hamilton, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
In terms of free agency, if I had to pick, let's just play, hypothetical. Let's do that, and I'll say DeAndre Ayton. That's my guy.
Oh.
And I know he's restricted. I know he's restricted, but that's if I don't. Miles Bridges, the same thing, restricted. But in terms of fit, my God, if you could sign a guy like DeAndre Ayton, he solves a lot of your issues with size, with everything else, and I'm sure you could play next to motherfucking Chet. I mean, Chet could do it all too, so it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, here's me with my guy Ben. Troy actually was there with us. He took the photo
the picture.
For me. Yeah, it's me and my brother. We got to meet Ben Wallace back a couple years ago. That's my favorite Piston of all time right there. But yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with Rip, man. He was so good. Yeah, and people, I really don't think this is the free agency class that people are trying to play it up to. I think people are just excited we have money. And I think people just want us to spend it right away.
No, there's if your best free agent is DeAndre Ayton, you got issues. There's something going on.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, and they're both restricted.
Yeah,
they're both restricted.
If Jalen Brunson is the one that you could go throw a ton of money at, you don't want to throw money at a guy. I don't know. Jalen Brunson, the more like he intrigues me, but he also like this is his first great year, so you don't cash in when you've only seen 1 year. You know what I mean?
It'd be Ben Gordon all over again.
Like we don't want another Ben Gordon, Charlie Villanueva type free agency class.
No, and I'll say it right now. He's not your starting point guard. I'm sorry.
No,
he's not your starting point guard. So if he's not that, what are you paying him?
He's working. He's working well in Dallas, but you also have Luka Doncic around him.
100%. Like, and I like Jalen Brunson, but if you're going to give me 12 points, 11 points, like I'm not giving you $20 million a year. Like that's Jerami Grant money for a guy who gave us 22 points his first year. 20. Like I'll take that. That's a good amount of money to spend on. But yeah, no, Jalen Brunson. Hell no. I know someone asked me that question. And they're like, "Yeah, Jalen Brunson." I think we were having this discussion. I'm like, "Why is that even like? Where did that come from?"
It came from a rumor that Troy Weaver liked them. Like it's like once because now
I like you. I like you guys.
Yeah,
but I ain't gonna sign you to $20 million a year. Fuck that. I'm sorry.
Hey, you're undervaluing me, Jeff. Like Troy's over here. Like I'm hurt. Like
no, dude. I literally can't with Jalen Brunson. I like watching him from afar. I mean that's fine with me, but I'm sorry.
No, that's absolutely. I think you're right, and it's it's not the type of move that I think takes us over the next level. It's like a guy that like he could come in and like that'd be a great backup point guard acquisition. Like you know what I mean? But I don't know if we're in the market for that yet. I mean, I know there was an interesting comment today actually Dwayne Casey made about Killian Hayes, where it was an interview with Rod Beard, and he pretty much said these games are for him because these are games that are for development. And he said, here, I actually have the quote right here. Let me share it on the screen. It said, quote, these games are for him. These are developmental days because this time next year, it won't be that way. So I don't know what you guys take away from that, but to me, I think this says, hey, we're glad you're here, but like, it's time to start showing something.
Yeah,
like, these games are for you. Get touches. Because this time next year, the leash isn't this long.
Right.
Yeah, it means they'll be playing more competitive basketball. Like he's not going to be able to go out there and be flexible. I think I don't really take it as much as other people are seeing it. Like it's a low key little jab at Killian Hayes. I don't see
it's not a jab. It's it's
facts. It's the same stuff with like Sekou last year, right? It's the same stuff with him.
He's probably being cool about it too. He's like, hey, Killian, go out there and just play with freedom. And next year, you're not going to have that same opportunity because we're going to be all like healthy and probably contending, hopefully, for the playoffs. So, hell no. So I like it. Killian needs to do this. This is a must for him. We've been waiting to see him. I've been on him all year for his shot attempts. And I understand he's a playmaking point guard. He doesn't do that. He's a very great defender. One of the best, if not the best, perimeter defender we have on the Pistons. So you can't really discredit that. But I want him to be more aggressive. Like he's 6'5". Yeah. He's got the frame for it. He's got an underrated jumper that he's starting to take more and more. Like go out there and just sling it. Go out there and just have fun. Like play with just freedom. He's just out there. I feel like he's also scared of making too many mistakes because then he has other people watching him or he has Dwayne Casey watching him. But fuck it, dude. We're losing. Go out there and take 20 shot attempts and see what you got. Like I'm good with it.
Yeah.
So Jeff, with that, do you honestly think, with the right draft pick, we can compete for a play-in spot next season?
Yeah, I think absolutely it should be expected. Dwayne Casey,
I think that's the goal. It's got to be.
Play in at least, because with Dwayne Casey, I love Dwayne, but I think next year is going to be big for him, like big. Because if you get a Chet or a Jabari and you sign some guys in free agency, you're not going to make a splash, but you sign some guys for depth, no doubt, Troy, they should be able to make at least a play-in. If not, I'm not going to say they'll make the playoffs right away. You don't really know what the team's going to look like, but no doubt. I mean, that's every team's goal. Now that they've added this play-in tournament, it gives even bad teams a shot. Yeah. So if you don't make the play-in tournament, you're not bad. You're ass.
Yeah,
you don't want to be in that ass category.
That's the bottom of the barrel. That is. It is the guys that are going for the Chet Holmgren, Jabari Smith Jr. Those sweepstakes that we're.
That'll be 3 years in a row. We've been in the tops. We've been trying to contend for a number 1 overall pick. Fuck that. You can't do it.
And they even let more teams play in the bubble for COVID than play in, right? Didn't they offer 11 in each conference or around there?
Yeah, it was.
They did.
I think they only you had to be within a certain amount of games for the play-in tournament. Which, rest assured, Detroit was not in that conversation. It's like
surprise.
Oh hell no, they weren't. But with that, I'm right there with you, Jeff. This is a big reason why we're glad you're here, man, because it's another credible, voice that knows the Pistons, passionate, but also talk about the rest of the league, man. And with these kinds of conversations, man, they just excite me for the podcast to come. And with that, we also, Jeff, it's now time to introduce you to how we end shows. And Troy, we got to take them on a journey. This is a segment that we call From Mount Rushmore. Now, the reason why we call it that is because I was like, hey, Troy, I want you to have a segment where we could talk about wherever you want. And every week for like 7 weeks, all right, we're doing the Mount Rushmore of this. I was like, oh, so we're just always Mount Rushmore now. That's just where we're at.
Occasionally we'll have a conversation about something, like we did like a Fab Five conversation. We did a conversation about Delonte West. Remember that guy?
Oh yeah.
So we have fun, but I would say 80 to 90% is from Mount Rushmore. So
And with that, Troy, what do we have planned for Jeff today?
Well, my first time on the podcast as a special guest before I became part of the host was I played basketball in high school as a shooter. You mentioned too, you like to shoot the ball.
Yeah, let's go.
We did a Mount Rushmore of my favorite shooters, or not my favorite, but best shooters of all time, in my opinion. So we're going to ask the same question to you now, Jeff, is give us your Mount Rushmore of best shooters of all time, because Sean and I were pretty solid on our list. And we did give a fifth for an honorable mention. So the floor is yours, buddy.
So I'll stick number 1, clearly Steph Curry. That's a no-brainer to me. Another one that's a no-brainer would be Ray Allen. Another guy, Reggie Miller. That's a third. Give me Klay Thompson. I think he deserves to be in that list. He does. I mean, he is that is one of the only guys, at least in NBA history, if he has the ball in his hands, he doesn't even need to dribble the motherfucker. He just shoots it, and it's cash money. One of the only players that can get as hot as quickly as anybody is Klay Thompson, especially from deep. I mean, he's getting injured, but when he's healthy, people forget. Don't forget 37 points in a quarter.
Nights. He's gotten 40 since he's been back. Like that.
Yes, that one. He had the one game where I was like, "Oh, is this? Are we getting what we're used to here? Where you get like
Clay
40 and a half,
man? Headband.
He got
Clay
60 through 3 quarters. 3. You know how many dribbles he took? I think it was like 11.
Yeah, so literally 11.
But that's another conversation. So Clay, you got 4 right there.
Yeah, you got a special honorable mention.
And honorable mention. Oh, there's someone I'm missing.
There is someone you're missing.
There's someone I'm missing, and I swear when someone says it, I'm going to feel like an idiot.
Troy, do you want to go ahead and give our Mount Rushmore that we did?
Yeah, so we did get obviously Steph Curry. The debate was actually Reggie Miller. I wanted Reggie Miller. He wanted Klay Thompson. Ray Allen, obviously that was one we agreed on. But the one that Sean and I 100% agreed on, which is not on your list, is Larry Bird.
That's who the fuck it was. Larry motherfucking Bird. I don't know why I drew such a blank. I'm thinking of all these shooters trying to go in my head. Larry Bird, easily. And I think I'd put Larry Bird over Klay Thompson. So there you go. There's the list.
Yep.
That was the guy I was forgetting. Yeah. That was the guy I was forgetting. All right. I was going through them. I was going through them in my head, and I'm ranking them. I'm like, wait, hold up. No, Larry Bird, no doubt. Klay would be the honorable mention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the
Larry
thing.
Bird. That guy. Yeah, shooting with your left. No, I'm sorry. That's another. There's levels to this.
It's a different
Troy.
universe. Yeah,
There's levels to this. I think
it's a
Clay is like right
multiverse,
here.
right?
Yeah,
No doubt.
It's Larry Legend, man. It's
Yeah.
Larry Bird.
Imagine Larry in this day and age
Oh my
shooting the
gosh.
amount of threes they're taking now.
People forget, like people
What?
genuinely don't know. First of all, like people just think Larry Bird was just a shooter. That guy was tough. Like he was a tough SOB. And I think like, you know, any great all-time player can be great in any era in my opinion. I think greatness transcends eras, but like Larry Bird is one of those guys that truly in any era could go get a bucket. And if any era he truly missed out on, it was this one. Imagine like a Luka Doncic type, like, you know, shooting volume for Larry Bird.
Yeah, that's exactly what it would be, Sean.
It would be.
And think about this. Isn't Larry Bird didn't he go into the 3-point shooting contest, walk into the locker room and said, who's getting second?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What in that? This guy is on the list, Sean. Did you not have
Oh
him on
yeah,
your list?
he's on the Mount Rushmore. His face better be replacing one of the founding fathers of the United States. Because he's that on the Mount Rushmore, man.
Oh no doubt. He's Larry the Legend. Yeah, he's built different. Literally,
He
like,
built
physically different. Like he doesn't look like he
No real athleticism, which even makes him more impressive. Of like he had the athleticism as like the three of us combined, and he's getting out like.
Hey, I don't want to drag you guys down like that. Y'all are on a different league. Y'all are on a different league.
Okay, he's the athleticism of Jeff and I combined.
Yeah, there we go.
He's still out there getting buckets.
Yeah, I got my bum knee
business
over here. I'm nothing compared to y'all. I can't put myself in that camp. But
I want to see your jumper, Sean.
Oh, it's wet.
I've seen it.
It's wet.
Is it wet like water?
Wet like water. Oh boy, man. Dude, all I'm saying, we're gonna have to have like a horse contest. That's gonna have to go on the pod at some point.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Dude, believe me, I'm actually heading out to Detroit for opening day. I'm not sure if you're gonna be there or not.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'm going to the opening day event. I'm going to the game. Might go to a Pistons game that night too. So if you'd want to make that happen, that would be awesome.
You stopping by Woodward?
Right? Oh, of course. I was
about to say, we're down there, right?
Like, of course. You kidding me? It's why I'm going.
All right, bet. I thought you were like, I'm going to the game. I'm like, wait, is he coming? Okay.
Well, we'll be down there. So party, right? There's like all that stuff happening. Yeah. We'll connect 100%. On that. But Jeff, not only are we going to be connecting there, but you and I and the three of us are going to be connecting on this pod now each and every week. This was an awesome first episode, guys.
Yeah, this is great.
We got a good trio going here, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, 100%.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And the cool thing is now, like with with Jeff being here now, like the guests that we can have on this show are truly endless. You know, we have guys like there's guys like Neil Rule or Terry Foster or guys like Braylon Edwards that we can pull out of our back pocket. Now we have some awesome people that we could that we're going to be joined by coming up, and it's going to be awesome, man. So be on the lookout on this channel. We got the 313 report on Thursday again with our guy Kool-Aid and a whole ton of Detroit creators with Ash and the Trainer. That's going to be live at 8 p.m. Be sure to tune in, but also be sure to follow my guy Troy on Twitter at TroySergey44. Be sure to follow my guy Jeff on Twitter at Jeffrey Iafrady, and be sure to subscribe. Be sure to follow, because a lot of awesome content's coming your way. So I want to thank you all so much for listening, and we will catch you next time from Half Court. Be sure to subscribe.